Thanks for your company. I'm Bernice Abubedu. We are coming to you live from digital address GA0992539. President Akufo-Addo has officially renamed the seat of government from Flagstaff House to Jubilee House. This is the second time in 9 years the name of the seat of government has been changed. The name has been in contention for some time now. Well, indications that President Akufo-Addo would change the name to Jubilee House on January 7, 2017 after he assumed office. Joy News' visit to the presidential complex this morning showed that the frontage of the facility has been branded Jubilee House. Our man Maxwell Agbagba was there. We'll be hearing from him shortly. But first, here's Communications Director at the Presidency, Eugene Ahin, confirming this earlier on the AM show.
Of government will now be known and referred to as the Jubilee House.
Okay. I'm seeing some ongoing activities on one of the frontages of frontals, all the walls of the Flagstaff House, in which the insignia inscriptions are being changed. It's part of the whole renaming process.
Yes. I wouldn't describe it as renaming. I'll describe it as the naming process because if you recall, the edifice as part of Ghana's 50th independence celebration of the country, President Akufo put up that structure and named it as the Jubilee House. Subsequently, when there was a change in government, the building was named or renamed Flagstaff House by the then President, His Excellency, the late John Evans Atamil. But officially, if you look, there's no record anywhere evidencing that the name of the seat of government was named as Flagstaff House. There's no record anywhere that the Jubilee House was renamed Flagstaff House. So the President, as a result of Article 58 of the Constitution and given the power vested in him by that particular article under the Constitution, has named Flagstaff House as Jubilee House.
Okay, so now you're just affirming the name, Jubilee House.
Absolutely, Jubilee House, yes. And the President has signed an executive notice to that effect, which has been gazetted. And so the name Jubilee House would now be the official name of the seat of government.
But has it got anything to do with the president's birthday, perhaps some significance of a sort?
No, it has purely coincidental. Purely coincidental. Yes, it has nothing to do with the president.
It sounds like a very curious coincidence.
Well, you can say so, but there's no design to ensure that probably the naming of the seat of government coincided with the president's birthday. Nothing whatsoever. It just happened. Eugene,
so there's going to be an LI that will be sent to Parliament ultimately?
It's an executive notice that has been gazetted. Eventually, I don't think there'll be the need for an LI to be sent to Parliament in this respect.
Okay. Just for me to be able to get a good soundbite, tell me about it. You said there's going to be executive...
I'm saying the president has signed an executive notice dated today to the effect that the seat of government will now be named and referred to as Jubilee House. He signed an executive instrument which has been gazetted, and that is about it.
Well, so you just heard the communications director of what we now have to call the Jubilee House speaking to Roland Walker on the AM show. But what do you think about that? Let's hear what some Ghanaians have been telling us.
I'm not surprised about that because when the MPP was in opposition, they made mention that when they come back to power, when we come back to power, we're going to change it from Flagstaff House to Jubilee House. I'm not surprised about that. I'm not surprised at all.
To me, names don't matter, but what they do is what matters.
I don't think the name really counts a lot. It's what we do there that really counts. The Flagstaff House is supposed to house the presidency, the whole presidency house. And so the name is not really something that's so much of importance to It's what we do there, and if we are doing the right thing there, the vision or the mission of what's supposed to be achieved over there, if that one is achieved, I think that's good to go.
Renaming of the Flagstaff House to Jubilee House, it wouldn't stop people from still calling it the Flagstaff House anyway. People will still, people will decide which name they want to call it by. So it wouldn't make any. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't make sense. But it wouldn't make any. It wouldn't change the way people call it.
So some of your views there shared, but let me take you to that executive instrument signed by President Akufo-Addo today on the name change of the seat of presidency or the seat of government from the Flagstaff House to Jubilee House. Now, it's quite a lengthy one, but we'll just try and bring the major details. Whereas in recognition and celebration of Ghana's Golden Jubilee anniversary in 2007, the Presidential Palace was built to serve as the seat of the presidency by His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor, the second president of the Fourth Republic, and its official name designated by him as Jubilee House, whereas prior to the construction of Jubilee House, most of Ghana's national leaders lived and worked at the Christian Castle at Osu, built by the Danes in 1961 as a slave fort, whereas after Ghana became a republic in 1960, the first president of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, president of the First Republic, moved into the Flagstaff House and stayed there throughout the presidency, whereas the Flagstaff House until then had been the residence not only of the colonial military, officer commanding the West African Frontier Force in the 4 British West African colonies of Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone and Gambia, as was the case in other British colonies around the world, but also the residence of the commander of Ghana's armed forces immediately after independence, whereas after the overthrow of the First Republic on 24 February 1966, Flagstaff House was returned to the control of Ghana's military and Christian Castle became again the seat of government. Whereas Jubilee House is the first presidential palace built in independent Ghana to serve expressly as the seat of the presidency of Ghana, whereas Flagstaff House is a separate property located on the premises of Jubilee House. It still continues, whereas there is no record evidence in the remaining of the seat or renaming, I beg your pardon, of the seat of the presidency as Flagstaff House by His Excellency Professor John Evans Atta Mills, the third president of the Fourth Republic, in purported exercise of his executive authority. And whereas for historical and tourism purposes, Flagstaff House, which is situated on the premises of Jubilee House, should be preserved and commemorated as the residence of the first president of Ghana, now therefore in exercise of the power conferred on the president under Article 58 of the Constitution. I, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic, give notice that the seat of the presidency of Ghana shall hereafter be named, known and referred to as Jubilee House, and the property known as Flagstaff House, located on the premises of Jubilee House, shall be preserved and commemorated as such. Given under my hand the 29th day of March 2018, comes along with a signature of the president. Now, following this morning's announcement, my colleague Maxwell Agbagba visited the Jubilee House and came through with this.
It is official. The Flagstaff House has officially been renamed the Jubilee House. If you've been following conversations on this subject sometime in February 2018, when President Akufo-Addo met some chiefs from the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs, he gave indications that this edifice will be renamed the Jubilee House. He made that known also on the campaign trail that when they are voted into power, they'll be changing the name of this building to the Jubilee House. But if you've been following conversation on this subject, you would remember that President John Agyekum Kufuor was the one who commissioned this building when it was 80% to 90% complete in November 2008, just when he was exiting office as the president of Ghana. When President John Evans Atta Mills took over in January 2009, they renamed the Flagstaff House, they renamed the Jubilee House to the Flagstaff House. That generated a lot of controversy, but the NDC stuck to their guns and said that the previous government did not take the renaming to Parliament for it to be backed by an ally. But some people who criticized the renaming to Flagstaff House said that it glorified our colonial past. But the NPP gave hints that when they are voted into power, they would change the name. That is official now, as the letters on the gates of the main gate of the Flagstaff House has now been changed to the Jubilee House. It is official now.
Well, how has the main opposition, the NDC, been reacting to this? Let's take you to Twitter. The official account of the NDC says, we've noted the renaming of the seat of government from Flagstaff House to Jubilee House. The name Jubilee House will be co-terminus with the duration of Akufo-Addo's presidency. For us, it is and will always be the Flagstaff House. So there you have it. A lot of reactions pouring in after the president changed the name of the presidency to the Jubilee House. We'll be bringing you more reactions. You can join Mapiso CBD at 11 on Joy News Interactive.